The Florida man accused of stealing Nancy Pelosi's lectern during Wednesday's takeover of the U.S. Capitol appears in court for the first time and will be bonding out. New video plus a live report begins now on WFLA Now. Hey there, folks. JB Buno here with you in the WFLA Now Stream Center. By now, you probably know 36-year-old Adam Johnson of Parrish, Florida, or if you don't know him by name, you certainly know him by his smiling face. Some seeing the photo that went viral last week as humorous, others online seeing it as a stain on American democracy. Regardless of how you feel about Adam Johnson, his arrest, the charges, and today's court appearance in the Tampa Bay area are all very real for the 36-year-old and, of course, his family. Joining us now live from outside the courthouse, 8 on your sides, Justin Shecker. Hey there, Justin. This is a story that really took off, a photo of Adam Johnson that went viral, and now he made his first court appearance today.
That's right, JB. Good afternoon from outside the federal courthouse here in Tampa. Enough cannot be said about that photo. I'm actually holding here the criminal arrest report, which talks about how that photo, that Getty image of Adam Johnson carrying the Speaker of the House's lectern led to this investigation that led to his arrest back here in Florida. Again, he's been in custody over at the Pinellas County Jail. We are here with a long line of reporters and TV crews because after this hearing, we expect that he might bond out of jail this afternoon, but the judge inside the courthouse listed several conditions of his release. I'm going to go through them right now. The bond has been set at $25,000. He has to surrender his passport. He cannot possess any firearms or weapons, and his travel is being restricted to here in the Middle District of Florida and to D.C. And JB, this is another big development. The next court date, according to what the judge said today, will be the day before the inauguration, January 19th in D.C. But again, his travel is restricted to here in the Middle District of Florida, and when he goes to D.C., he can only go to that court appearance, because if he's caught anywhere else, he could face another 10 years in prison on top of the charges he's already facing.
One of the things you and I spoke about, Justin, ahead of this court appearance for Johnson was going to be the tenor of it, the mood of it. Now, the photo, of course, went viral because not only is he walking out quite casually with what appears to be and allegedly is the lectern for House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, but also we're talking about, you know, his smiling and his kind of jovial attitude at the moment. So the tenor of the court proceeding itself today, the judge, how could you describe it?
I think the most important moment from inside this courthouse was the federal prosecutor telling the judge everyone involved in the siege, the violent storming of the Capitol, needs to be held accountable. The prosecutor went on to say that Mr. Johnson presents some threat to the community and to the republic. To me, JB, that was the most consequential line uttered in the courthouse today, came from the prosecutor.
What are the charges, Justin, that Johnson here is facing? Again, pretty serious charges, something that, again, began with something in that Getty image, a smiling picture of Johnson, now leading to very serious charges.
One of the charges is unlawful entry. The second charge is stealing of property on federal grounds. And the third charge is disorderly conduct at the U.S. Capitol. So those are the three federal crimes that Mr. Johnson has been charged with after his arrest for his involvement in the storming of the U.S. Capitol.
What do we know about Johnson's trip? Obviously drove up or traveled up to our nation's capital last week to be part of the rally that was conducted there near the White House for President Donald Trump, then part of the I would guess the parade of the march rather down towards the U.S. Capitol building. What do we know about his trip up there and then his subsequent trip back here to the Tampa Bay area?
Well, one thing we know, JB, as I was telling you before the court hearing, is that Mr. Johnson did post another photo of himself onto his Facebook page inside the Capitol. So he was in some ways documenting this. Now, we did learn more about his personal life here back in Florida. The judge and prosecutor said today we knew he's a father of 5. It's 5 boys, all under the age of 13. We also learned in court today he doesn't have a job. He is a stay-at-home dad taking care of these 5 children. So, again, those are other developments. More we learned in court today about this man charged in connection to the riot at the U.S. Capitol.
What do we know about Johnson other than, of course, him being a father of 5 in Parrish? What else do we know? And were members of his family there at the court today?
I do not believe any members of his family were in court today. Now, one thing I might have mentioned before, the bond, the $25,000 bond, must be co-signed by his wife before Thursday. So that is one other development. We're still trying to piece together more. I know we had WFLA crews went by his home down there in Manatee County, have not been able to get any response. He is being represented not by a public defender. So we're standing out here. My colleague Jeff Patterson is here with other members of the media, hoping to hear comment from his attorney. Again, to viewers joining us now, obviously federal court proceedings are much different than, say, in state court, so there were no cameras allowed inside. We did get one sketch of Mr. Johnson from a court sketch artist. I can tell you he was dressed in that white T-shirt and white mask, which he is seen in the new booking video being booked into the Pinellas County Jail. So again, JB, still trying to learn more about who this man was, but to your point, it was a very serious proceedings inside this courthouse in contrast to that smiling photo that's gone viral.
We want to let folks know, if you're joining us here on WFLA's Facebook page, you can use hashtag HeyJB, hashtag HeyJustin. Maybe you have a question, maybe you have a point that you would like to make regarding this story. This is a story that was trending on WFLA.com and the WFLA app for really the better part of the weekend. Justin, when it comes to just how viral this story became, it was really the Getty image itself, but this was a photo. It didn't matter what social media platform you were on. You saw it, and it was clear that it wasn't going to take very long for authorities to track down Johnson, make the arrest, and of course that leads us to where we are today.
And all of that is outlined, JB, in the criminal complaint about federal authorities being alerted to that initial photo. They found that second photo of him on his Facebook page. And really some of the reporting here locally by one of the newspapers down the Manatee County area helped let investigators to piece this together. But I can't stress this enough, JB. Yes, we've all seen this smiling photo of this father of five from Florida carrying the lectern. But as the days have gone on since that riot at the Capitol, we've seen the disturbing images of rioters beating one of the police officers. Another video that was very difficult to watch showed an officer getting crushed by a door as these Trump supporters kind of heave-ho trying to break through the Capitol violently. So again, while this photo of Mr. Johnson has gone viral, I know just from a tweet that I put out over the weekend about his arrest had 600,000 impressions. JB, we cannot lose sight that that image of this smiling Florida father does not represent some of the violence and that really awful siege that took place at the heart of our democracy.
Yeah, and I want to bring up another point here too, Justin, because we have some of the comments that are now starting to come in here on WFLA's Facebook page. Again, you can use the hashtags that you see on the yellow stripes underneath our name, hashtag HeyJB, hashtag HeyJustin, if you'd like to ask us a question, or if you just want to have your voice heard here in the Facebook Live comment section. Joey Tolbert, hashtag HeyJB, wanting to know, and this is a great question, we haven't really covered this yet, if Johnson left the Capitol with it. What do we know about the lectern right now of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi? Was he able to leave the Capitol building with it, and where is it now?
So that is a great question, JB. Let me just shuffle through my papers so I can read you the direct quote to all of our viewers. I'm just going to read, this is from the arrest report. Give me 1 second, JB. But the lectern has been found, so he did not leave the grounds with the lectern. I'll read exactly. On or about January 7th, 2021, the lectern was found by a member of the Senate staff in the red corner of the Senate wing off the rotunda in the Capitol building. According to the House of Representatives curator, the speaker's lectern has a market value of more than $1,000. So again, the lectern was found over in the Senate side of the U.S. Capitol. Obviously, the theft, one of the charges, took place in the House side in the speaker's chamber. So again, the lectern has been found. There's some false reports about it going up on eBay over the weekend. That is incorrect. Again, according to the federal arrest report, the lectern was found in the Senate side of the Capitol building.
Yeah, I would imagine not much of a chance of him making it back to Tampa Bay with it and putting it in his home for decoration purposes. Joey, thanks a lot for your comment here. Again, we're going to bring up a few more hashtag HeyJB, hashtag HeyJustin comments here in the Facebook Live comment section. So if you want your comment featured, use one of those hashtags. I'll be on the lookout for it. Marianne Fernandez here, hashtag JB, $25,000 bond, no passport, and he couldn't even keep the lectern. Wonder if he thinks it was worth it. Those are federal charges. I bet his mom is sick about his behavior. From Marianne Fernandez here in the Facebook Live comment section. Justin, what would you say was his demeanor there in the courtroom today? We see this video now. This is the processing video, him in handcuffs and, of course, being taken to be photographed. You see him there with the mask over his face and being taken there, of course, by officers there as he's being processed. But as far as his behavior and his demeanor today, I would imagine he had a mask on, so you can't really tell if he's smiling behind his mask, similar to the image itself. But what could you say about his demeanor overall?
Well, just to set it up for everyone who is watching, obviously this is unprecedented times in the middle of a pandemic. So to your first point, JB, the attorneys and the defendant, Mr. Johnson, were all wearing a mask. All we really heard from him during the court appearance was the proper "yes, Your Honor." And again, we were watching from an overflow room on a different floor, so we were not inside the court. The members of the media were watching this proceeding kind of on a wide shot in the court. So in terms of body language or whatnot, it was hard to tell. Again, he did have the mask on. He's wearing the same white T-shirt we've seen now in his booking photo. But again, it was a very serious tone. Just, "Yes, Your Honor." But again, hard to really tell full demeanor because we were in a separate room watching the video feed of this hearing. And again, like I said before, unlike in, say, the state court down the road, there's no cameras allowed in to record these proceedings. That's why I was taking copious notes inside, trying to document every moment of this first appearance.
8 on your sides, Justin Shecker for us live outside the courthouse where this all took place today, the court appearance for 36-year-old Adam Johnson. For those of you just joining us, Justin, perhaps you can just catch us up and let us know where we go now from here. Now, we expect Johnson to bond out. $25,000 is the bond amount, and as we understand, he will be bonding out sometime in the foreseeable future here, sooner rather than later. Maybe, instead of where we go from here, maybe I could ask you this here, Justin. There have been some people here in the comment section without using the hashtags. Again, you only use the hashtags if you want your comment put up here on screen. But some people, I've been reading the Facebook Live comments that have been coming in, so people are very curious about the $25,000 bond amount. There are a lot of folks here that are commenting that perhaps that is a little bit low given the nature of the offense here. Again, we're talking about carrying the lectern of the House Speaker for the United States after, of course, illegally entering the premises. What do we say about the amount of the bond itself, $25,000?
To me, JB, the other moment that really was important today was the judge basically, for lack of better words, reading him the Riot Act, that if he were to do anything to violate any of these conditions, he could face 10 years in prison on top of the 3 federal charges he's already facing. So I know oftentimes we cover these cases, both state and federal. People raise eyebrows about the bond. Again, to be clear, the 3 charges he's facing are unlawful entry, disorderly conduct, and theft on the Capitol grounds. So again, those are the 3 charges he faces now. And yes, some people may say the $25,000 is a bit low. And again, the other detail is that the next court date has been set for in D.C. But again, any violation of these conditions of his release could lead to a even tougher punishment for this Florida father of 5.
Got a couple comments coming in here in the Facebook Live comment section here. Hashtag HJB from Kathy Nelson Quinones. Hashtag HJB. I didn't think bond was allowed on a federal crime. Federal crime, of course. No, Johnson with the $25,000 bond amount here.
But it's similar to normal court proceedings. There are bond amounts that can be issued, and again, this is a very traditional hearing with his rights being read to him as any hearing would, having his right to counsel. So again, it's the amount may seem low to folks, but in this case, they reached this agreement with the bond being set with all those other stiff conditions about his release.
And we'll take this one more, this final question here from Tony Cerritos, hashtag HJB. Why is he even making bail if he's considered a terrorist? Yeah, some people here have, of course, used the term domestic terrorist to label those who stormed the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday following the speech by President Trump there in our nation's capital. Maybe you could speak to this, Justin. What was the court proceeding like from an audience standpoint? Were there a lot of members of the media there? Were there, I would imagine that those that were there in the courtroom for this proceeding itself were there specifically to see Johnson. What was it like from an audience perspective?
again, as I mentioned before, JB, we were watching from an overflow room. Again, this is the time of COVID. They're trying to have social distancing measures. So we were watching the feed come in from the actual courtroom. But again, I'll repeat for viewers just joining us now, what I thought the most consequential thing said in court today was from the federal prosecutor saying that everyone involved in the siege on the U.S. Capitol must be held accountable. And he went on to describe Mr. Johnson as not only a possible threat to the community, but a threat to the republic as well. So again, to me, that was the strongest language we heard inside this courthouse from the U.S. attorney condemning his behavior and his involvement. So to me, really, that was the big standout quote that was said in court today.
8 on your sides. Justin Shecker here for us outside the courthouse where this unfolded today. Again, 36-year-old Adam Johnson. Yeah, hop in here, Justin. Sure.
And one thing I think should be noted, our photojournalist Joey Capistran did note, we are obviously at a federal building. Joey, can you pan up and show that right now? So taking a look up here, the U.S. flag, the stars and stripes at half-staff here outside the federal building, obviously as our country mourns and processes what happened, remembering the life lost of the U.S. Capitol police officer who was killed during the siege. We've learned since a second officer with that police force has sadly passed away. So here you're taking a live look at the Stars and Stripes, the American flag, here at half-staff outside this Tampa courtroom, just moments after one of the men arrested during the siege faced a judge for the first time. So, JB, I just want to show our viewers joining us on WLFA now that powerful visual here outside the courthouse in Tampa.
8 on your sides, Justin Shecker. You're going to see him tonight on WFLA News Channel 8 alongside our colleague, 8 on your sides, Jeff Patterson. Folks, you can read more on this story right now by heading over to the link here. If you're joining us on Facebook Live, just click on the link in the description on the video. We have a story there that we're going to be updating with new information. And as soon as we know whether or not Adam Johnson, bonds out tonight or whether it's in the days ahead, he's going to be bonding out, as we understand it, on that $25,000 bond amount. We'll let you know about it on WFLA.com, the WFLA app. This is a story that has captured the fascination of so many, not just here in Tampa Bay, not just here in Florida, but really across the country. So we'll, of course, keep you posted as to the very latest. For those of you on here in the Tampa Bay area, WFLA News Channel 8, your NBC station, 8 on your side. Justin Shecker on the right side of your screen will be there with Jeff Patterson tonight to break down the very latest with this story. And again, if you're joining us on Facebook Live, you can click on the link to get over to WFLA.com or the respective television website that you are watching us on. It'll take you over to the article where you can read more. The latest on WFLA.com and the WFLA app. For 8 on your sides, Justin Shecker, I'm JB Buno. The latest tonight on WFLA News Channel 8. Thanks for watching.